Hi folks, John with the Wingman 115 channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're going to be talking about air compressors. And we're not talking about the air compressor that you have out in your garage that you refill tires with. We're talking about high pressure air. This is a 300 bar, 4,500 PSI air compressor. And you're asking yourself, John, why would I need one of those? Well, if you follow along on the channel, you know that I am an avid air gunner. I love my pre-charged pneumatic rifles and pistols. But most of those take a charge of up to 2,000 or 3,000 PSI. So if you're going to be doing it for any time, you're going to need some form of air to charge up those units, i.e. whether it be a pump or an auxiliary air tank. Well, for a lot of folks, they don't have the ability to run to a scuba shop. If you live in the Midwest, that's pretty tough. Or the capabilities to run to a paintball shop to charge up your tanks. It may be a couple hours drive away, and it may be a time management deal for you. So I'm in that boat. Even though I live on the West Coast, it's a time management deal for me. I just don't want to deal with it. So I picked up an air compressor. This is the Yong Heng air compressor. This is the 110 volt model. Now they make two. They make the 110 and they make a 220. The 220 has a automatic shut-off switch on it. The 110 doesn't have that capability. My house isn't wired up with an outlet for 220, so I chose the 110. I'm going to be showcasing this today. I have a 90 cubic inch paintball tank that I will be charging up. And the reason I'm using this size is because I'll be doing a lot of hunting this summer. And this fits nice and easy in a backpack. So I'm able to get through the woods, charge up my air rifles, my air pistols, no problem without having to carry a pump with me. So without further ado, we're going to cut away. We'll get up close and personal. We'll do some quick specs, and then I'll show you the components on this compressor, and then we'll get to charging up a bottle, and then I'll come back for some final thoughts. First off, I chose the 110 volt unit. The reason why I don't have any outlets that are wired for 220, they do make a 220 volt version, and that one has an auto shut off feature. So with that said, you're going to have to stay out here and monitor the air pressure that you're putting in these tanks so you don't have an issue with overloading the bottle, cooking the system. Now, like I said earlier, the system is cooled by water, and the pump is in a bucket, and I have the tube running cool water through the cylinder, which is a superimposed double cylinder. This is a two-stage compression unit, and it has the feature of large displacement and quick air inflation, and I can attest to that. I have this 90 cubic inch bottle. I'm going to show you that it's going to fill it up real quick. Now, I'm an avid air gunner. This also is going to apply if you're a paintballer. This is going to be in your wheelhouse. If you don't have time to go to a scuba shop or a paintball shop to fill up your tanks, now you can do it at home, or you could do it out in the field as long as you bring a water source with you. One note is that this is not for scuba diving. So for all the people out there that are thinking that you can fill up a scuba air tank, it is not advisable to do that with this. Now, this is a 300 bar, 30 MPa, 4,500 PSI output on this unit. This little unit packs a punch. The workflow of this is 50 liters a minute. The main material of this unit is made out of aluminum, and the size of the unit is roughly 14 inches by a little over 7 inches wide by 14 inches tall. So it's small, it's compact, it can fit in a truck, it can fit in a small garage. It just is going to work great for you. Noise is around 78 decibels, and the fill time is about 10 minutes per 1 liter tank. So that's not bad in regards to the output. Like I said, it's a water-cooled system. You want to make sure that the water is turned on before you fire up this unit, because this could overheat real quick. Another note is you always want to check the oil in this. Now, this didn't ship with oil in it for obvious reasons. It's shipping from overseas, and you can't have any flammable or combustible liquids in there in transport. So that wasn't a problem. I went out and got some number 46 anti-wear hydraulic oil. That's recommended. You can get down to your automotive store, fill it up. It's not a problem. Now, you want to fill the machine oil up to the upper edge of the red dot, and you want to inspect the oil level before each use. And just a note, you know, if you're going to make these units last, you want to change the oil out when it begins to change color, when it starts to darken up a little bit. So if you are making sure that you're running water through there and you're changing the oil out on a regular basis, you shouldn't have to rebuild this unit too often. We're going to do some long-term testing on this to find out. So without further ado, let's get to firing this up and see how long it takes to actually fill this bottle. Now this bottle has just a hair over 2,000 PSI in it. I don't like to run them all the way down to empty, because it's just, especially if you take it to a paintball shop, they charge you per 1,000 PSI. So usually at about 2,000, I stop, then I pump them back up. So let's get to filling this bottle up. All right, filling the bottle up is real easy. Here is a blow-off valve knob. I want to make sure that that's tight. I have my quick disconnect. This is the female. I hook it up to the male connect on the bottle. I make sure that it's secure, and I like to put my bottle on a towel, just carbon fiber. I don't like it rattling around, getting scratched up and tore up. So I verified that water's running. Now I'm going to turn on the unit. And as you can see, it's going to level off right now. Now it's starting to fill the bottle up. So this is a temperature gauge for the main unit in Celsius. How I like to monitor the temperature on that cylinder head is with an infrared thermometer. Running at about 103, not bad. We're almost at about 3,500 right now. And that's less than 5 minutes. And that's how simple it is. We're at 4,500 PSI on the bottle, and it took roughly about 5 minutes to fill that up. Let's look at how hot the unit got. Only 108. Now, if you run this for more than 30 minutes, they recommend you changing out the water to help keep that cylinder head cool. But real super simple unit to run, and quick and easy way to charge up your air bottles. Now for some final thoughts on this Yong Heng air compressor. First off, I found the setup real easy. The instructions were a little bit tough to read, but I figured it out. And the main thing is to have oil in the tank and to make sure that you hook up your water lines correctly. Now, this whole setup, what I like about it, it's just small, it's compact, it puts out a lot of air pressure real quick. You saw that I refilled that 90 cubic inch auxiliary tank that I had, and yeah, I only had it down to 2,000 PSI. But you got to keep in mind, you don't want to drain all your tanks all the way down. It's just too much of a pain to get them topped back off. And you're not doing any good once you pass a certain PSI. So with that, if you're a paintballer, if you're an air gunner, now you just have extra capabilities where you don't have to run to the paintball shop or a scuba shop. And it's just quick and easy to set up. And you can take this out in the field. As long as you got an auxiliary water source to be able to keep this cool, you're good to go. Now, just that safety note, keep in mind that it will take an 8 amp outlet to support this. This is drawing a lot of electricity. So you want to make sure that your house and your outlet is wired up correctly. That way you don't do any damage to the outlet or you don't mess up the compressor. With that, another just crucial note is that this bleed off valve knob right here, before you shut this unit off, you want to make sure that you bleed that air off and run it down to 0 psi before you shut it off. If not, it just puts too much preload on this compressor and then you're going to do excessive wear and tear. Now they do send a rebuild kit with O-rings and air filters and such. If you take care of your equipment, it's going to last you a long time. And we'll do a long-term use on this. I'm going to be doing a lot of air gun stuff over the summer. I'm going to be using the heck out of this compressor. And then say in a couple months, we'll do a follow-up video, say 3 months, to see how well it's doing and holding up. With that, you're going to want to know, hey John, where can I find a compressor like this? I'm going to make it real easy for you. I'm going to include links in the video description down below for eBay and for Amazon. And for you folks over there in Europe, let not your heart be troubled. I found a link for you folks as well to obtain one of these. They're really affordable in regards to what you're going to pay for auxiliary compressors or full high output compressors that run in the thousands of dollars. So I look at it as, if you take care of your equipment, you're going to save the money and you can spend it on your paintball, your air gun, whatever other hobby that you're into that's going to require high pressure air. So with that, folks, this is John, the Wingman 115 channel. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care, folks.